The air in the Riverside ballroom was thick with the scent of expensive perfume, the sweet notes hovering over the dessert table, and the low murmur of 200 guests. I stood next to my newly made brother-in-law, Josh, holding a crystal glass that was already growing cold in my palm. Everything was exactly as we had planned for months. White orchids, twinkling fairy lights, the soft music of a string quartet. And at the center of it all, my wife. Sarah, she had been my wife for exactly 47 minutes. She Rossi, adjusting her veil with a light touch of her fingers. The smile I loved so much played on her lips. She raised her champagne flute, and the hall fell silent in anticipation of a beautiful, touching toast. I want to thank everyone for sharing this day with us. Her voice, clear and confident, carried through the hall. It means everything to me. She turned her head towards him, and her eyes met mine. Tom, you have been my best friend, my rock, patient, kind, reliable. I nodded, raising my glass in response, feeling Josh tense up beside me. But there is one thing, Sarah continued, and her voice trembled, not from nervousness, but from something else, from a long simmering resolve. One truth I have carried within myself for too long. She paused, and the pause stretched into eternity. The hall became so quiet you could hear the candles crackling. This first dance, Sarah gestured towards the empty parquet dance floor, I dedicate to the man. The man I have secretly, hopelessly, and unrequitedly loved for the last 10 years of my life. And then she took a step, not towards him, past me, the white silk dress for which we had paid $4,200 and spent 3 months choosing together, brushed softly against my shoulder. She walked past without looking, leaving a trail of her familiar fragrance, and stopped 2 steps away, in front of Derek, my older brother. He was sitting at the table, slouched in his chair, with his usual smug half-smirk on his lips. Seeing her, he slowly rose to his feet. That smirk spread across his face, becoming wider, more insolent. The same smirk that had haunted me since childhood, when he took my toy, when he received praise for my craft project, when he kissed my first girlfriend at the prom. The smirk of a winner for whom the world is a buffet, and I am just one of the available tables. Sarah extended her hand to him. He took it, his fingers closing around her palm with a familiarity that made my stomach clench. The hall froze. For 2 long seconds, there was complete, deafening silence. And then Aunt Margaret, forever sentimental and always ready for a beautiful gesture, clapped her hands. A single, dry clap that sounded like a gunshot. Others joined in. First timidly, then more boldly, there were stifled, nervous giggles. Someone in the back sighed, "How romantic." Another voice added, "What a touching tribute to family." They didn't understand. They saw a beautiful scene. The gentle new bride dedicating her first dance to her beloved brother-in-law. A symbol of new family unity, an idol. Sarah and Derek walked to the center of dance floor. Gigi Marcus, whom we had hired for $800, apparently thought this was part of the show and started playing Unchained Melody. Slow, passionate, piercing song about longing and fidelity, music for lovers. Josh grabbed my elbow. "Tom, what hell is going on?" he whispered, and there was genuine panic in his voice. I didn't answer. I couldn't take my eyes off them, off Derek's hand resting on her waist, off how her head leaned against his shoulder, off this picture of perfect, long-awaited betrayal for them, playing out for everyone to see. And in my head, like a broken record, the same scene kept replaying. 3 weeks ago, the kitchen, morning, Sarah in shower, her phone on the countertop, plugged in. The screen lit up, and one short message appeared, "Can T wait for tonight? Meet at the usual spot at 8, the usual spot." Sarah didn't have usual spots with colleagues or girlfriends. She didn't have a friend's name my heart. Lick attracted attention. "Beautiful dance," I said, and my voice, amplified by the speakers, washed over the hall, drowning out the music. Marcus, confused, turned the music down. "Very touching. Since we were sharing secrets today, I have something to share too." I turned to my father. "Dad, that loan to Derek, $50,000. Did he ever pay back a single dollar?" My father asked. He grew wary. "No, the business went under." "Interesting," I said, "because that business never existed." At all. I nodded to Josh. who was by the projector, on the white screen, where our childhood photos had just been scrolling. The first page of the financial report appeared. Highlighted lines. Transfers. Here asks where your money went. Dead. The President Hotel. 2 nights. Amount. $490. The date. Right around mine and Sarah's anniversary. Chicago, Miami plane tickets. 2 seats. Tiffany Co. Jewelry store purchase. A bracelet. $1,200. A murmur began in the hall. Derek pushes Sarah away, his face turning ashen. Turn it off. Tom, what are you doing? I am sharing the truth, brother, I said quietly, but the microphone carried every word. Just like you've been sharing Sarah for the last 10 years. I switched the slide. Screenshots of their messages scrolled across the screen. Enlarged, clear. He asked Nave. After the wedding we'll be together. I am tired of kissing him while thinking of you. The murmur turned into shock, into exclamations. My mother jumped up from her seat, her hands pressed to her mouth. My father paled, but that's not all. I continued, feeling an icy calm. Sarah, you probably thought that after tonight's dance, he would leave everything for you. I clicked further. An official Las Vegas marriage certificate appeared on the screen. Derek Henderson and Melissa Chen, he has been married for 2 years already, and, it seems, had no plans for a divorce. At that moment, Melissa appeared in Thiesel between the tables. She walked steadily, her heels clicking distinctly on the parquet. She approached Derek, who seemed to have shrunk in size, and without saying a word, slapped him across the face with all her might. That sound was sharp and loud. It's over, she said clearly. My lawyer will be in touch. She turned, nodded at me, and walked out of the hall. Chaos erupted. My mother was screaming at Derek. My father, trembling with rage, was demanding the immediate return of money. Sarah was rushing between Derek, who sat with his face buried in Theta Blackcliff, and me. Her makeup was smeared, her eyes held animal terror. You knew all along. 3 weeks, I confirmed, and I let you get to this point. Sovereign could see who you are. We could have talked. I was confused. 10-year ass is not being confused, Sarah. That's a conscious choice. I took off my boutonniere, the symbol L off groom, and placed it on the table. By the way, about our marriage, the license wasn't filed. It doesn't exist, so legally, you are nothing, Tom. I turned and walked towards the exit. Josh followed me. Dude, that was epic and terrifying at the same time. They planned this, Josh. Public humiliation. I just gave them a stage and changed the script. A black car with a driver was waiting for me at the entrance, another pre-planned detail. I got in, and we drove to the airport. The flight to Reykjavik, for what was supposed to be our wedding week with Sarah, was now my ticket to solitude. I spent 10 days there, among glaciers, black sands, and silent fjords. My body rested, and my mind slowly processed pain into emptiness, and then into a key at cold equilibrium. The consequences caught up with them quickly. The video of the wedding exposed spread across the internet. Derek was fired from his prestigious firm, misalignment with corporate ethics. Melissa, with the help of a good lawyer, took half of everything and left. My father filed a fraud lawsuit and won. Derek sold his condo, and disappeared somewhere on the outskirts of the city. Sarah harassed all social media, changed her number, and, as I heard, moved to the West Coast to start with a clean slate. I returned to Chicago, changed Helix, sent Sarah's things to storage and billed her for it. My life slowly returned to its course, only it became quieter and cleaner. A few years later, I met Rachel. Shaq knew nothing about the story until I told her everything on our third date. She was silent for a long time, then took my hand. That's awful. But you did what was right, in your own way. We got married a year ago. A small ceremony in my parents' garden, only the closest people. No grand speeches or complicated choreography. When she raised her glass for a toast tea, she said, to simplicity, to truth, and to love that doesn't need secrets to survive. We drank, and for the first time in a long time, I felt not the cold satisfaction of revenge, but a genuine, warm peace. The story was over, not the fairy tale I had once imagined, but that truth that, in the end, proved stronger than any fiction.